Well, it seems like we're having a bit of a technical problem, but you know, there's a lot to talk about.
Oh, there's a lot to talk about.
Very interesting discussion with Jackson on this viral video, Kony 2012. Now, you've interviewed...
I interviewed these kids
the kids who
way
started
back.
this particular project.
Exactly.
I think his name is Richard, one of them.
And the other one is Jason.
Right.
I remember very well. It's been many years since we did that. They were just starting off at that time. They did a video, a movie on the situation of these kids who are traveling from their villages to go to the town center so that they can have safety overnight. It was, fascinating to these kids. They're just, I think still in college, they went there and they wanted to kind of experience firsthand what the Ugandan kids in northern Uganda were going through. It was fascinating to talk to them at that time.
You know what is fascinating for me, and as you know, I'm not on Facebook. I still don't get that concept. And call me old-fashioned or whatever it is, but it seems to me that the social media tool has really been used effectively in this case. If it's about spreading news very fast throughout the world, this thing is working.
Because it
Now, you're on Facebook, so did you get the link?
I got to see the link. I saw, once you see there's a lot of activity going on, you can't miss it because people are commenting on this one and it kind of pops up on that page. And what it does is that it connects, it creates a platform for conversation.
And there's a lot of conversation that is going on.
Exactly. Positive, negative. Some don't understand what this is all about. Some are opposed to what they're doing. Some are supporting them. But the truth is that the social media makes it possible for people to share this instantly. I mean, you can share with 1,000 people just with a click of that button. And so I think this has created brought a new dimension to the effectiveness of social media.
I watched the video myself. It was one of the longest videos I've seen that has been posted on, say, YouTube and, of course, Facebook. 29, almost 30 minutes long. And I have to say, it's really captivating. I think the dynamics, it's very controversial in terms of, I understand also that there's some allegations that it was doctored here and there to give it that power. But I have to say that I can understand why it has caused so much attention, so much discussion, so much, refocusing on Kony, Joseph Kony, even though, like Jackson was saying, he's not been an issue in northern Uganda for more than 10 years now.
When you look at the images that come out of there and listen to the stories of like the young man that is featured, Jacob. And you juxtapose that with the little baby, the baby of one of these producers of The Invisible Children. It's kind of telling you the story in very few words. It's saying, compare, this kid is here, is my kid, is growing up in comfort and safety, but some other kid elsewhere does not have this advantage of growing up this way.
Or also the other question it raises is, if this was your child who was taken as a child soldier, what would you do? And I think that's what it's really trying to get at, that message. But it's also incredible that a lot of these kids who came in, who are in Gulu, they actually came to Washington. They were in Congress. They presented their case before the U.S. Congress. And I believe it is the reason why President Obama even sent the National Guard to Uganda to try and consult and give advice in terms of how to mitigate this Kony situation.
Because
so it's had an impact. The question is,
had an impact.
I guess the question is the impact in the right way, and is it targeting the areas that people feel should be the target?
There's been a debate over the years. First, whether this, at this moment, is the focus. The question is Kony right now actively, fighting and capturing kids in northern Uganda? Some will tell you no. It's kind of this fight waned away. The guy is somewhere scared for his life because also The Hague wants him. He has been charged with crimes against humanity.
He's the number one wanted person on the ICC list.
Exactly.
And yet he's been elusive for so many years.
Exactly. So some will tell you the focus right now, and the issue of immediate concern should not be the capturing of Kony. It should actually be helping those people in northern Uganda to kind of recover from the impact of that war, and also to kind of build infrastructure that has been destroyed or undermined because the people could not function as normal.
At least according to what this video shows, they are addressing some of those issues. They've built schools, they've built hospitals, I believe. They've put satellite centers that allow them to track the movements of the LRA. So I mean, you know, I guess Jackson's going to join us back shortly, and I really wonder, what I want to ask is this the good or the bad impact of social media? Yeah, because, you know, if the conversation is now all over, and suddenly it seems like there's a problem about what it is doing as opposed to what it should be doing. Exactly, and as we said, you know, whatever publicity, the impact is there. We'll analyze further what that impact is going to be immediately and perhaps into the future. Why don't we take a short break right now? Okay. Then we'll come in, we'll come back, we'll continue the conversation here with Jackson Mvunganyi joining us now in the studio. All right, thank you. Stick around. Yeah. So we'll be back with more. I guess maybe we're not going anywhere. But well, it looks like there's no no break right now because we need you right here. Right. Jackson Mvunganyi joins us. Because it was International Women's Day, I feel like I should kind of jump in there and, you know, put the women, at least take advantage of that. Well, Jackson, what is your point? What is your thought on whether this is the appropriate use of social media or it's a violation of social media? Honestly, whatever gets the conversation going is fine with me, okay? Mm-hmm. Here we can take so many lessons here. Activists can take a lesson in terms of the use of social media, how effective it can get, some of these neglected issues. Now, there's so many criticisms by people on different angles. There's so many members of the African diaspora who say we're tired of people who show Africa in this negative light as in fact, to put a name to it, somebody we've had on the show, and his article has gone pretty viral too, and that's Teddy Rouge of Africa Diaspora, and he's come out very strongly against efforts of the Invisible Children and other such organizations. Right, and he's saying really that you know, Africans should be able to look after their own. And that, but to me, honestly, like I said, if it gets the conversation going, it's fine with me. But now, depending on you know, who you are, what stake you have in this, you know, this game, whatever it is, you have an opinion. The thing is, you know, while the conversation is going on, perhaps what others sometimes want to talk about is how well do we understand the reality on the ground? Because there are many who have said that the Lord's Resistance Army over the years has been just a ragtag, you know, band of thugs. That's how President Museveni of Uganda has described them in the past. In other words, it is not such a unique, sophisticated army that could have kept the world guessing and you know, and trying to capture and without any success. The question is, why has the Lord's Resistance Army really not been defeated over all those years? Right. And why has Kony not been arrested over the period of 20 on more years that he has been operating in northern Uganda? Is it because he was so elusive, or is it because somebody wanted him there for political reasons? It also speaks to some of the source or the root cause of the insurgency in the first place. 20 years ago, Kony did not just appear out of nowhere. There were some legitimate concerns by people in northern Uganda about how the government of Uganda was treating that area, the current government that has been in power for over 20 years. And Kony is a person who came up in the 80s as a man who has the solutions, who is fighting. He was kind of a hero to some of the local population. Unfortunately, he started fighting the local population. And there has been word that because of that kind of dynamic, that the conspiracy, that the Ugandan government, or Museveni, has also wanted him to stay there because it creates that, you know, conflict, and it, you know, it sustains his, you know, need to stay in power. But then, you know, or distracts from other issues. What about when you have the case, and you could speak very well to this, about Laurent Nkunda? He had been wanted, he was captured, and some people will now question, well, what is going on with his capture? So, I mean, it seems to me it's always a question of, you know, we're chasing the arrest of this particular person, but there are issues bigger than that. And I think this is what this brings it to. The question is the focus, or should the focus be on Kony? If you arrest Kony today, what changes in northern Uganda? Absolutely. People are products of the issues, the local realities. That's what they are. Here's a question, just kind of spinning off that. And I think Vincent and I were talking about it earlier. What possible change can such a campaign like that has been launched by Invisible Children bring to the people of northern Uganda, the children and the women specifically?
Well, first of all, they need to rebuild the infrastructure, or to build infrastructure that was never existing in the first place.
Does this video have the ability to bring that change?
If it can get people talking about it and sending money to build schools, that's fine. And you'd have to read some of the manifestos or the campaigns, because it's not about capturing Kony, it's also about rebuilding northern Uganda. Some of the students who have, some of the young people who have attested to that, that are products of this campaign.
And I think some people are also not feeling very happy because they feel that such a campaign also kind of overlooks the good work that is being done by thousands of people on the ground who may not have this kind of platforms or the kind of publicity that the invisible kids are getting.
And also, what about the argument that is also because they're white, that they're not of that?
These kids, this campaign did not just start yesterday, okay? And, they've been working at it for so long, for over 8 years, okay? So it's not like they're coming out of nowhere. You cannot question their legitimacy in terms of understanding the dynamics on the ground, okay? They have at least a bit of that credibility associated to what they're doing.
Let's say this. These kids are a subject of conversation now, I guess, in the entire United States.
Everywhere, everybody's talking about
the world,
them.
And that's not going to change.
Yeah.
So whatever the result's going to be, we'll wait and see.
And you turn on the TV for the past 2 days, everybody's talking about Kony 2012.
We'll get to know.
2012.
Well, maybe we'll talk about them again when we come back on this show next time. But for now, that's our show. Be sure to watch it.
You feel vindicated, though, don't you?
On our website.
Social media power.
Of course. I'm trying to get you on Ndimyake. You cannot escape it.
I'll never join Facebook.
Exactly. Hey, let's end the conversation here. So remember to watch our show on our website at voaafrica.com.
And as always, for more news, please tune into VOA's evening radio shows, Africa News Tonight, and of course, Daybreak in the morning, every day, Monday through Friday. And that's from all of us here. Good night.
Jackson.